Hoping today, though, we could have a discussion about real solutions that will make the lives of everyday Americans better. Talk about the costs of health care, access to health care. Instead, we're going to talk about why the Democrats are upset that the administration thinks Americans deserve something better than the failed ideas of Obamacare. Under Obamacare, make no mistake, Americans saw their premiums skyrocket and their health care choices reduced. The majority's title for today's hearing is Trump's efforts to undermine the ACA. 9 years ago, I call them the 9 lies of Obamacare. Think about this. Remember this one? If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. Y'all remember that one? How about the one, if you like your plan, you can keep your plan? 23 were created. Guess how many are still in existence? 4. The other 19 went bankrupt. 9 different lies we were told about Obamacare, and the hearing is titled, How Trump's Efforts to How Can You Undermine Something That's Already Failed?
The left's biggest scam just got blown wide open. The Democrats tried to stage a fake hearing to accuse President Trump of undermining healthcare, but Congressman Jim Jordan stepped up to the microphone, completely hijacked their narrative, and dropped a nuclear truth bomb on the entire room. He didn't just defend the administration, he went on an absolute rampage, exposing the corrupt foundation of Obamacare and leaving the Democrats completely humiliated. Let's get straight into the fire.
I yield now to the very distinguished gentleman from Ohio, the ranking member of our committee, Mr. Jordan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I, too, want to thank our witnesses for making the trek here and being willing to share their story. I was hoping today, though, we could have a discussion about real solutions that will make the lives of everyday Americans better. Talk about the costs of health care, access to health care, coverage, pre-existing conditions. There's no one on this committee who would support denying coverage to Americans with pre-existing conditions. I was hoping we could focus on those issues, but unfortunately, like so many other hearings in this committee, we're not. Rather than working towards bipartisan solutions, this committee is once again looking to score political points by attacking anything the Trump administration does to improve the health care for American people. Next door in the Judiciary Committee, we've reported out multiple bills that would have had meaningful impact on the cost of prescription drugs. Judiciary Committee spent months working on ideas to cut down on red tape, make improvements to how affordable generic drugs come to market. Those bills were all bipartisan. I was pleased to vote for them. In fact, many of them passed the Judiciary Committee unanimously. We could be talking about bipartisan substantive issues here today. Instead, we're going to talk about why the Democrats are upset that the administration thinks Americans deserve something better than the failed ideas of Obamacare. Under Obamacare, make no mistake, Americans saw their premiums skyrocket and their health care choices reduced. The majority's title for today's hearing is Trump's efforts to undermine the ACA. Undermine the ACA? Think about what we were told when this bill passed now, what, 9 years ago? I call them the 9 lies of Obamacare. Think about this. Remember this one? If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. Y'all remember that one? How about the one, if you like your plan, you can keep your plan? We were told by the President of the United States premiums were going to go down. He then got more specifics. Premiums will go down on average $1,500. He said deductibles would decline. 5 false statements right there. Oh, remember this one? This was in the fall of 2013. Remember this one? They told us the website was going to work. They told us the website was secure. Your information would be secure there. They told us that these co-ops were wonderful, end-all, be-all creations. 23 were created. Guess how many are still in existence? 4. The other 19 went bankrupt. Oh, and the other 9th lie, first they told us it's not a tax. Then they went to court and said it is a tax. Now they're saying, no, it's not really a tax at all because you can't tax them now because the individual mandate's gone and there's no penalty. 9 different lies we were told about Obamacare, and the hearing is titled, How Trump's Efforts to How Can You Undermine Something That's Already Failed? Now, I don't expect my Democrat colleagues to acknowledge it, but the Trump administration has worked to increase competition, transparency, and quality of care in our healthcare markets. Increased competition, transparency, and quality of care are all goals we all should share. I don't know if there's anything the Trump administration could do, though, that would satisfy my colleagues on the other side of the aisle. The timing of this hearing is also particularly troubling. Just yesterday, the Fifth Circuit began oral arguments in a case that could invalidate Obamacare due to recent changes to the law. The administration chose not to defend Obamacare in this appeal. That decision is entirely consistent with similar actions taken by other administrations in the past for other laws. But here we are. Democrats sought to have the director of OMB here this morning to testify about how the Trump administration made this decision. Could have had a witness from HHS, could have had a witness from DOJ, but nope, they wanted someone from OMB. Make no mistake, this isn't about serious congressional oversight. This hearing is about trying to manufacture a controversy based on anonymous sources and news reports. This hearing is just another attack on President Trump, and it's disappointing. We could have had a productive discussion today about real healthcare policy. Hopefully we can still do some of that. I hope we can. I know that's what our side's going to try to do. We could have had a real discussion about how to make healthcare more competitive, more transparent, more cost-effective, and with better quality of care. And I hope at some point this committee will stop its relentless political attacks on the administration and actually focus on something that makes a real difference in the lives of our constituents. Again, I want to thank our witnesses. Come in here and tell your story. But I think the country deserves something better than the lies we were told. Anyone remember the name Jonathan Gruber? Remember that name? New York Times called him the architect of the Affordable Care Act. And he's the guy who was caught on tapes a few years later. Remember calling us all stupid, calling Americans stupid for buying the lies that the Obama administration told us when they passed this thing? Again, it's not my words, it's Jonathan Gruber, the architect of Obamacare. But somehow the minority or the majority says that this is a hearing on efforts to undermine a law that was passed with so many false statements made about it. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Thank you very much. Let me be clear to the witnesses.
Jim Jordan didn't waste a single second. He walked right into the circus and brought out the ultimate receipts, the 9 lives of Obamacare. He reminded the entire country of the fraudulent promises rammed down our throats by Barack Obama and the radical left to force this government takeover onto the American people. Let's count down the exact history lesson Jordan delivered. Lie number 1, if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. A total fabrication. Lie number 2. If you like your healthcare plan, you can keep your plan. Millions of Americans saw theirs canceled overnight. Lie number 3, they promised your premiums would go down. Lie number 4, Obama got specific and swore premiums would drop by an average of $1,500. Instead, they skyrocketed out of control. Lie number 5, they promised deductibles would decline. Another complete joke that left working-class families unable to even use their insurance. If you are sick of these swamp politicians lying straight to your face, hit that subscribe button right now. We are exposing the radical left every single day. Jordan then dropped the hammer on the remaining 4 lies, exposing the complete operational disaster of this scam. Lie number 6. They told us the billion-dollar government website would work perfectly. It crashed instantly. Lie number 7. They promised your private medical data would be completely secure. It wasn't. Lie number 8. They praised the 23 state healthcare co-ops as the future of medicine. Jordan exposed the truth. 19 went completely bankrupt, flushing your hard-earned tax dollars right down the drain. Lie number 9. The ultimate bait and switch. Obama swore up and down it was not a tax, but the second they got hauled into court, his lawyers begged the Supreme Court to call it a tax just to save it. Jordan looked across the aisle and asked the ultimate common-sense question. How can you possibly undermine something that has already completely failed? To close it out, Jordan delivered a devastating final blow. He brought up Jonathan Gruber, the man the New York Times called the literal architect of the Affordable Care Act. Jordan reminded the room that Gruber was caught on tape bragging that the Obama administration deliberately relied on the stupidity of the American voter to pass this scam. Jordan threw that right in the Democrats' faces. They didn't just lie to us, they laughed at us behind closed doors. They thought everyday Americans wouldn't figure it out. But Jim Jordan proved we see right through the deception. Jim Jordan completely vaporized Obama's signature legacy. He turned a Democrat trap into an absolute slaughter, proving that their entire healthcare agenda is built on pure fraud. What did you think of Jordan exposing the 9 lies of Obamacare? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Smash that like button, share this video to every patriot you know, and I'll see you in the next breakdown. Keep fighting!